Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit of the WoW podcast Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com. This is the Firelands. Now, the way that this area works is it's a phased questing hub. Right now, the phasing is broken. Well, at least it was when I phased in this time. Now, this gives us a nice little advantage when we don't get horribly killed by these dudes. The Obsidian Slag Lord, which means different things to different people. I think I've met an Obsidian Slag Lord in Newcastle once. It was unpleasant. Well, whatever the case, the way that this is currently phased is that once a Slag Lord dies, I'm free to explore the Firelands. Now, when I phase it again, it fixes itself. But this whole Obsidian Devastation thing he's throwing around is a little unpleasant. So, let's just skip all of that, and we'll notice that this area is now completely clear, and it will give us an opportunity to have a look at the Firelands. The first thing you will note is that it contains fire. I know this is shocking, and go write your forum posts about it now. The fire effects are quite something, and the Sky Dome is absolutely, completely spectacular in every possible respect. As to how similar this area is going to be to the raid, I really do not know, honestly. We have seen some shots of the raid. I'm fairly sure there are areas of the raid which are not available in this daily questing hub, but I would also imagine that a lot of this terrain is going to be fairly similar. It is an open environment. It's not covered in caves like Molten Core, which is always a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Give us a little bit of fresh, sulphurous air. This is the current map. Bear in mind that this will not be a complete map. This is just an aerial screenshot. You might have noticed some of these maps in the beta coverage that I did. Those are incomplete maps, and I wouldn't expect that to be the case. Now, this is where Malfurion is supposed to be. He doesn't spawn in this particular phase for some reason, and you can fix that by leaving and going back in, if any of you guys are also on the PTR having this problem. So, let's not try and phase through the walls. That doesn't actually work. And we're going to go and have a look at something else while we're here. Now, I wanted to start by trying to charge my way through this. This, I have to assume, is something that you can phase out eventually by doing dailies. I can only imagine that, because the screenshots we've seen in the concept art indicate that they want this area to be a gradual reclamation. This is your basic beachhead. There is nothing else here. This is all you have for the time being. However, you will receive quests that will allow you to advance this goal. However, that's going to take you an awful lot of time to do, as I will show you in the daily questing video that I'm also putting up on this channel. It might not be up by the time that you watch this, but it will certainly follow. It will also show you how many marks you're going to need, and you might be a little bit shocked by that. As you can see, this area is currently empty. That is because we're in a phase that doesn't have any mobs or any events in it, which is convenient if we want to just look at the scenery. You'll notice the texture work is, in some places, very, very good, like, for instance, the areas with the molten runes all over them. I also like these rock formations. These are the kind of things that we don't see, and this is, for all intents and purposes, a very unique environment, regardless of the fact that it is full of fire. And there are a lot of areas in World of Warcraft that are full of fire, but in this case, you do have some significantly different geography and topography to look at. Now, as you can see over there, you've got what appears to be most of Sulfuron Spire, which is actually inside the elemental plane, as opposed to what was outside it. You'll notice the walls are very, very similar to the area you saw in Hyjal. You've also got these little encampments around, which I can only imagine will contain mobs and quest objectives once you are able to start the phase and actually get going with the quests. I don't know how advanced the questing system is really going to be in here. I'm hoping that what's going to happen is, as you gradually reclaim more and more of it, you're going to unlock quests that take you further and further into the area. That would make sense, and that would also be really, really good. It would also give me a reason to do these dailies. The amount of marks of the world tree that are required to advance this area seems to be pretty damn ridiculous, and I will show you that in the daily questing video. But whatever the case, I would imagine this area is designed to take a good few months of content to actually properly clear it. I can't see you blasting through it in a week. It's actually not going to happen. It is heavily gated. You can't get enough marks to access the later stuff. Aside from that, it's certainly a very good-looking area. There's no real doubt about that. I do particularly like the molten runes there. They're very, very cool. And obviously the texture work on that is brilliant. I'm liking the fact that they make use of the new lava effect. That is to be expected, considering, like, hey, we've got a new effect. What we're going to do? Well, we'll just make massive use of it on pretty much everything we possibly can. It's also a fairly dangerous area, as I discovered in the dailies. There are an awful lot of mobs. There is a constant battle going on once you're in the right phase, and they don't let you just wander around the place. You will aggro mobs. Those mobs are fairly tough. As far as I can see, there's not all that many elites, although I would imagine there are elites as we go forward. We saw the Obsidian Slag Lord earlier. I can only imagine there's going to be more than just one of those. They'll probably be hiding around, making sure that you don't access areas that you shouldn't be in. Now, from what you've just seen, that's pretty much all that's accessible, aside from that fiery path that we can't get through right now. You cannot fly in this area, as you've probably figured out already. Makes perfect sense, and necessary as far as I can tell, and that brings me to the conclusion that that fiery path is a very important phased area, because they don't want you to fly over it, and there is no way to bypass it as far as I can tell. The flames do seem to extend long enough to make sure that you couldn't do divine protection through there, so no bubbling for you paladins or anything like that, and no amount of shields or warding will keep you alive. You take about 3/4 of your health worth of damage in 2 seconds as you stand in that, and there doesn't appear to be a way around it, so you are stuck for the time being. Also, don't fall into the fire. It will kill you horribly, as you might imagine. And that's pretty much it, folks. That is the tour of this particular area. Nothing to really see aside from that. And the next video will feature some daily quests, as well as a look at the fighting that's going on the Molten Front as the Guardians of Hyjal try to gain a foothold in the realm of the Fire Lord. My name is TotalBiscuit, and I will see you next time.